Hello, everyone. Excited to be here with you today. We're reporting live here from HR Tech with some exciting news. Excited to share with you some important information about things that are near and dear to my heart about how Tilt will manage leave going forward and how we're changing the game in managing leave of absence. I'm Brandon Salisbury, CMO at Tilt. I'm joined here today by Hollis Baker, Product Marketing Manager here at Tilt. Before we jump in to the announcement, I want to share a quote from the great Dr. Seuss. He said that you will never know you'll never know the value of something until it becomes a memory. When managing leaves of absence, you may never know the impact of a leave of absence, what the impact that a leave of absence can have on an employee, for better or for worse, until the opportunity to strengthen the relationship with that employee has passed. Each year, companies spend roughly $500 billion on the employee experience with a goal of increasing retention. However, one incredibly important moment in the employee lifecycle is often overlooked, which is leave of absence. To illustrate the important role that leave plays in the employee lifecycle, I want to introduce you to Sarah. Sarah, the VP of People at Brightwave Solutions, totally made up company, considered having a company culture, considered the company culture her greatest achievement. It was a culture built on trust, transparency, and genuine care. When she stood up at an all hands meeting and said, "We support our people," she truly meant it. 2 years ago, in order to protect that very culture by freeing her team from the administrative burden in managing leave, she made a decision. She hired a leading outsourced leave vendor called Leave Corp, also another made up company. But the promise was seductive. Compliance, peace of mind, set it and forget it. It felt like the responsible, scalable thing to do. The first cracks in that promise appeared on a Tuesday. It started with an email from Jordan, one of our best software engineers, a quiet but brilliant coder who had been with them for 6 years. Her mom had been battling cancer, and she was taking intermittent caregiving leave to help her mom during her treatments. After months of chemo, her mom sadly had been transferred to hospice. So Jordan transitioned to 3 weeks of continuous leave. Sarah met with her heart aching with her family, for her family. "We've got you, Jordan," she said. Her voice full of genuine empathy she prided herself on. She sent an email with Leave Corp's information with its sterile logo and a link. "Just email them, they'll handle everything." As Jordan walked away, a knot of unease formed in Sarah's stomach. She had just outsourced her empathy. A week later, things got worse. Jordan forwarded an email to Sarah, and here's what the email chain had to say. The subject read, read inquiry for case number 734B. "Sarah," her email began, "I've called 3 times. Each time, I get a new person. Each time, I have to explain my situation all over again to a stranger who sounds like they're reading from a script. They keep asking for a form I already uploaded to their portal. I don't feel like Jordan. I feel like case number 734-B. Sarah's unease turned to shame. This isn't us, she thought. This isn't the culture we built. She spent the next hour on hold with LeafCorp, navigating a phone tree designed to prevent human contact, only to be told that the form was, in fact, in their system. She was now the middleman, the apologetic go between for the very vendor she had hired to save her time. The next issue came from Jordan's manager, who appeared at Sarah's door looking exasperated. "I have no idea what's going on with Jordan's leaf," she said. "I thought she was coming back today. I had her assigned to a hot fix. Lead Corp communicates directly with Jordan, so I'm completely in the dark. How am I supposed to plan my team's workload?" The communication triangle, employee, manager, HR, was shattered. Sarah had no answers. The vendor's black box had swallowed all the information, leaving everyone blind. The earthquake hit on payroll Friday. Her payroll coordinator rushed into Sarah's office. "We have a problem. Leave Corp's report says Jordan took 11 hours of leave this pay period. She logged 16 hours in our time tracking system, and her manager approved them. The data didn't reconcile, and we're about to underpay her." There it was, the set it and forget it illusion incinerated. The risk they had paid to offload had boomeranged back, threatening to financially penalize a top employee in the middle of a family crisis. That evening, long after everyone had gone home, Sarah sat at her desk, manually reconciling the pay run. She looked at the five-figure invoice from Lee Corp on her screen. She'd actually paid for this chaos. For the frantic calls, the broken trust, the manager's confusion, the risk of noncompliance, and the gut-wrenching feeling she had failed her employee. The realization hit her face with the full force of a physical blow. She hadn't bought peace of mind. She had actually bought anxiety. She hadn't eliminated risk. She had just lost control of it. The long held belief that HR doesn't want to be involved in leave at all was a lie. What she didn't want was the soul crushing admin, the manual data entry, the compliance guesswork. But she desperately wanted to own the employee human experience. She wanted to be the one to tell Jordan, "We've got you," and actually be the one to see it through. She closed payroll. She minimized the lead corp invoice. She opened a new browser window. This time, she didn't search for best outsourcing lead vendors. She knew exactly where that led. Instead, her fingers typed a different query, a search for a new category, a new way of thinking, best employee leave experience software. She wasn't looking to advocate responsibility anymore. She was looking for a way to take it back. You spend years of building culture and a culture of trust. You stand in front of employees and promise to support them. You build a company where people still feel seen, valued, and cared for. Then, when one of your people needs you most, a new baby, a family crisis, a serious health condition, they're vulnerable, anxious, and looking for you to support them just as you promised. What are you forced to do? You're forced into a false choice. You either drown your team in the tedious administrative work of managing leaves in house, or you have to outsource your empathy to a vendor and feel removed. This is the outsourcing paradox. In an attempt to save time and mitigate risk, you hand over your people to a system that treats them like case numbers. They're forced to re explain their most sensitive situations to a different leave expert each time. They submit their life into a digital black box and are met with silence, breeding anxiety that lands right back on your desk. The promise was set and forget it, but the reality is your team has become the apologetic middleman. Your managers are left in the dark, unable to plan for their teams. And you spend your nights manually reconciling payroll data, terrified of underpaying an employee who is already struggling. The stakes are higher than just frustration. The broken model erodes the very culture you've worked so hard to build, pushes your best talent towards the door, and leaves you legally exposed with no direct control over the very process you're ultimately liable for. For years, we watched brilliant HR leaders feel trapped by this false choice. And we had a profound realization. The problem isn't that HR doesn't want to be involved in leave at all. The problem is that they've never had the right tools to be involved in the right way. The long held belief that you have to outsource the entire function. The belief was that you had to outsource the entire function, but the real jobs to be done was to eliminate the administrative burden, like the complex math, the endless forms, the broken data streams. But no one ever wanted to be fully removed from the human connection. After supporting tens of thousands of leaves and digging into the problems that HR continues to face in making the false choice, we uncovered five key problems that exist with traditional outsourced leave management. The first of those problems it comes in the form of an impersonal employee experience. This is without a doubt the biggest concern. HR works hard to build a culture of care and support. When an employee needs a leave, they're often in a vulnerable state, a serious health condition, a new baby, a family crisis. Handing them off to a traditionally outsourced vendor can completely undermine that culture. So the next problem is the set it and forget it. This promise was that outsourcing would free up the HR team, but in reality, it has often just shifted the work. This can come in many forms, but here are three. The first is data integration failures. HR coordinators still have to manually key in leave start and end dates, pay changes, and intermittent leave hours into a system to ensure payroll is accurate. This is exact administrative work that you are looking to eliminate. Second is the intermittent leave chaos. An employee is approved for intermittent FMLA. The day-to-day tracking is a mess. The employee is confused about who to notify. The vendor system is often behind, making accurate payroll a guessing game. And finally, the confusion around the state of a leave, communications, documentation, status, etc. Then comes the realization that compliance isn't eliminated, it's just obscured. We commonly hear we outsource primarily for compliance peace of mind, but I've learned that we simply transfer the process, not the liability. This broken model also creates a fragmented communication triangle. There's a triangle of communication between the employee, their manager, and the HR vendor. Traditional outsourcing breaks this. Finally, with the traditional outsourcing model, HR sees a loss of flexibility and control. Leave policies are often part of the employee experience strategy, designed to make companies an employer of choice. The vendor's rigid one-size-fits-all model works against this because of the misaligned incentives. The vendor is a business. Their incentive is to process claims efficiently and cheaply as possible. HR's incentive is to retain top talent and protect the company while caring for their people. These goals are not always aligned. We realize with modern technology, specifically AI, we could finally sever the link between the administrative complexity and human empathy. It could automate the tedious work to liberate the humans. This insight led to a simple, unshakable conviction. You should be in control of supporting your employees in critical life moments the way that you desire. Considering your people, or caring for your people and protecting your company are not mutually exclusive goals. They're two sides of the same coin. We believe the most critical, vulnerable moments in an employee's journey should be handled by the people who know them, not by a stranger with a script. We believe HR teams deserve to be empowered, not replaced. This is why we designed the first leave experience management platform. Our leave experience platform is not just another outsourced vendor, it's the beginning of a new category, leave experience management. Leave experience management creates and defines an entirely new category that will give HR leaders more control over and connectedness to their employees' leaves, turning what was once thought of as an administrative burden into a key contributor of your culture. We're an AI powered platform designed to give you control over your employees' leave experience, transforming it from a cultural liability into a critical employee experience. We don't ask you to blindly hand over your people, we give your team the superpowers to hold them closer. Our platform automates the admin, not the humans. AI acts as your intelligent co-pilot, instantly calculating eligibility across thousands of federal, state, and local laws. It syncs directly with your payroll and HRIS systems to eliminate manual data entry. It provides a crystal clear 24/7 portal for employees to get answers, erasing the anxiety of the black box. This powerful automation exists for one reason: to free your HR team, to free up your HR team to do the irreplaceable human work, to have the empathetic conversation, to offer nuanced guidance. With Tilt, the fragmented communication triangle is rebuilt into a unified, transparent hub. Employees feel supported, managers feel informed, and HR moves from being the reactive middleman to a strategic, proactive champion for your people. This is the end of the false choice. This is the beginning of owning your employee experience, a lead experience with confidence. This is lead experience management.
Now, imagine the story going another way. This is Sarah, again, the VP of People at Brightwave Solutions, and she's still considered company culture her greatest achievement. But now, when she stood up at an all hands meeting and said, "We support our people," her words carried a new weight, the weight of confidence, not just hope. The change began when Jordan walked into Sarah's office, her voice heavy with exhaustion and heartbreak. But this time, things unfold differently. Instead of handing Jordan a packet and an email or a 1-800 number, Sarah walks her through a new, more modern tool, the Leaf Planner. Right away, Jordan sees that she doesn't have to navigate this moment alone or guess at what her options might be. Through the Leaf Planner, Jordan can privately explore what leave types might apply to her situation, whether it's family caregiving or other available programs. The tool helps her understand eligibility, outline timelines, and highlights how different benefits can overlap or run consecutively. It even shows her what her time away could look like on a calendar, so she can begin to picture how her leave dates will impact her return to work. As she walks through the Leaf Planner, Jordan can test scenarios without the fear of getting it wrong. She can adjust her start dates, look at how intermittent versus continuous leave might work, and see what her pay replacement might look like along the way. Instead of being handed a maze of forms, she's guided step by step through a process that's usually extremely overwhelming. For Sarah, this means less time fielding repeated questions and more time providing support where it really matters. For Jordan, it means feeling informed, in control, and cared for at one of the hardest points of her life. After creating a schedule that works for her, Jordan can now see her entire journey mapped out. Every form, every date, every update, all in one place. She doesn't need to worry about how she'll get paid and by who. And she has the confidence that her job is protected while she's away. And she's not the only one who benefits. With this system, Sarah, Jordan's manager, and Jordan are all kept in the loop automatically. Instead of juggling spreadsheets, email chains, and sticky notes, they can all see the same up to date information in one central place. If Jordan's leave date shifts or if new documentation is submitted, the system sends alerts right away. So no one is left guessing or scrambling to catch up. For Jordan, it means she doesn't have to relive her story over and over again. Explaining her situation to a new person who gets involved, the system will remember. And every interaction is designed with balance in mind. There's automation where it reduces friction, and empathy where human support matters most. AI powered tools handle the repetitive, administrative pieces like ensuring compliance, organizing documents, and flagging key deadlines, while people in her world can focus on listening, supporting, and guiding her throughout her journey. Jordan feels cared for every step of the way, and her HR team feels equipped rather than overwhelmed. Sarah and her team, who once spent their days buried in spreadsheets, now spent their time on what really mattered. Whenever she needed details on Jordan's leave, the Leave tab dove into action items, a comprehensive calendar view, documents, and more. But sometimes what Sarah needed to know was beyond just forms and deadlines. The Leave Summary tab on Jordan's plan gave her the high level details she needed to reach out to her employee when it mattered most. Throughout her leave, she was able to check in on Jordan twice, not to ask about paperwork, but to ask how she was feeling. The system was handling compliance, so their conversations could be about care. But as life often does, things changed. Jordan's mom needed more care than they expected, and in that moment, she needed to adjust her leave quickly and easily. In this moment of need, she didn't have the time or energy to email HR and her manager and go back and forth about the details. She needed simplicity. And whether it was to initiate, change, or ask questions about a leave, Tilly, the AI phone support tool, offered just that.
Hi there. I'm Tilly, a virtual leave success manager with Tilt. Can I get your name?
Jordan Ellis.
Hi, Jordan. Thanks for calling. I see you have a caregiver leave scheduled to start in August. Are you calling today with questions about leave policies, or do you need to make changes to your existing caregiver leave? Or are you looking to begin the process for a new leave?
I need to make changes to my existing leave.
Got it, Jordan. It sounds like you need to make some changes to your existing caregiver leave. What kind of change do you need to make?
So I'm already on intermittent leave, and I was supposed to be out occasionally to help my mom with chemo treatments, but now I need to be out for 3 weeks straight starting next week.
Thanks for sharing that, Jordan. So it sounds like you need to change from taking your leave intermittently to taking a continuous 3-week block starting next week. So when would that 3-week continuous block start? What date next week?
That continuous block will start next week, September 15th.
Thanks, Jordan. Then after those 3 weeks, what date would you plan to return to work?
I'll return to work 3 weeks later on October 6th, and then I'll continue with my intermittent leave.
Thanks for sharing that. So you'll take a continuous 3 weeks block from September 15th through October 6th, then return to work and continue with your intermittent schedule. Does changing to this 3 weeks continuous block affect any other dates for your overall leave?
No, it doesn't.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing the details about the change to your leave. You'll receive a confirmation email from Tilt within 1 business day summarizing the next steps regarding the changes to your leave. I'll take it from here and make sure everything's on track for you and your mom. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Jordan. I hope everything goes well with your mom's treatment.
Soon after, Jordan's call with Tilly triggers a notification to Sarah. Instead of having to chase down updates or wonder if Jordan has taken action, Sarah knows right away that new information is available. As Jordan has uploaded her required forms, the system automatically organizes them alongside her leave request. When Sarah opens her inbox, everything she needs is right there: Jordan's leave details, her updated status, and clear next steps. No digging through files, no forwarding emails across departments. Just one seamless update that puts Sarah back in control. In the middle of her already packed day, Sarah clicks View Plan and is instantly brought up to speed on where things stand. She can see Jordan's timeline, what documents are complete, and which tasks remain. Instead of scrambling to piece things together, the activity feed that she'll be led to lays out exactly the story of the lead in a clear chronological view, giving her the context she needs exactly when she needs it. For Sarah, that means fewer disruptions and faster decision making. For Jordan, it means trust. She knows her HR partner is fully informed and ready to support her without having to ask the same questions twice. The result is a lead process that feels connected, responsive, and human, even in the busiest moments. So, Sarah clicked. Everything was there: a complete time-stamped log of every communication, every document, and every automated calculation. There was no chasing a third party down for notes. She had an auditable record right at her fingertips. The system told her that Jordan's new leave request would exhaust her allotted FMLA hours. While Sarah hadn't handled a leave exactly like this before, she knows she can breathe easy navigating it on her own. She's not just compliant, but she also has the tools to be compassionate. In the old world, this would have been a rigid system with significant processes. But Sarah wasn't in the old world anymore. She opened Tilly Compliance Chat, knowing she was in uncharted territory. In the past, this would have meant hours of research, frantic calls to colleagues, or waiting on outside counsel for direction. But now she had an intelligent guide right at her fingertips. The AI immediately went to work. It surfaced her company's policies related to extended leave, highlighted how similar cases had been handled historically, and even reminded her of external factors she might not have considered, like overall team capacity, potential compliance risk, and what other benefits might still be available to Jordan. Instead of feeling alone with a hard decision, Sarah suddenly had context, clarity, and confidence. Importantly, the platform wasn't making decisions for her, overstepping or replacing human judgment. Instead, it presented facts, structured the options, and flagged the trade offs so Sarah could weigh them carefully. Tilly acted as a compliance co pilot, equipping her with everything she needed to make an informed, human centered, and defensible business decision. It didn't just solve a problem in the moment, it empowered Sarah to grow into a more strategic HR leader. So she clicked Approve, and the system automatically generated the appropriate documentation, alerting Jordan's manager when it happened. Later that day, Sarah called Jordan. Jordan, she said, her voice warm and confident. We've approved your leave request for 3 weeks of continuous leave. We want you to take the time you need and come back when you're ready. Your family is what's most important. We've got you. She heard Jordan let out a deep sigh of relief on the other end of the line, followed by a quiet, "Thank you. You have no idea what that means to me." But Sarah did know. It meant trust, it meant loyalty, it meant their culture wasn't just a poster on the wall. At the next leadership meeting, Sarah spoke with confidence, knowing she had control over her leave program, and she could prove it. The new Tilt reporting dashboard allowed her to clearly lay out essential leave stats for leadership. And when she wanted to build a custom report, she typed it out to Tilly, who delivered it ready to download. No more late nights piecing together data points or being stuck with reports she didn't need. The reporting dashboard allowed her to pull the stats she wanted when she wanted them. She let go of her vendor and hired an AI powered platform backed with leave expertise derived from managing tens of thousands of leads. She had stopped outsourcing her empathy and had instead amplified it. She had taken back control, not by burying her team in admin, but by liberating them from it. She wasn't just the VP of people, she was an architect of a workplace where promises were kept. And that was a job she would never outsource again. Now, These new features, putting expertise in the hands of HR and driving seamless leave experiences for employees, need an engine. And at Tilt, we've been building ours for 8 years. Absence IQ is our leave intelligence system, trained on 32,000 structured leave cases and growing, creating an intelligence edge that will only get smarter over time. So, we're going to walk you through what we're building. First, we'll highlight some of the features that you saw throughout the presentation, but we'll also dive into what's currently in development and what's coming next. First is Tilly phone support. Imagine you're managing a workforce where not everyone is sitting at a desk. Maybe it's retail associates or warehouse staff. Many of them don't have easy access to a computer, but they do have a phone. Or sometimes employees just need to be able to interact with their leave on the device that they're already on. That's why we built Tilly via phone, a way for employees to call in, initiate or update a leave, or ask general leave questions. The design principles are simple but powerful. Scope first, clarify ambiguity, never speculate, and always escalate to a human when needed. This ensures employees get a clear, safe, and helpful piece of guidance without putting HR in a risky position. Today, Tilly can initiate a leave, update an existing leave, or answer FMLA basics. Over time, we're exploring even more use cases, like multi-language support, outbound reminders, and in-app voice assistance. For HR, the benefit is clear. You're meeting employees where they are, cutting down on back and forth emails, and ensuring every leave starts with accurate, compliant data. That means less admin burden for HR and an even more accessible leave experience for employees. Next is Tilly Compliance Chat. Leave compliance is famously complicated, and doubly so for HR employees that are newer to the space. That's why we built Tilly for Compliance Questions. It's an HR facing chat tool that answers general leave compliance questions, starting with FMLA. Like our phone product, Tilly follows core principles: scope before answering, clarify ambiguity, and escalate instead of speculating. It's not giving legal advice or company specific direction, but it is a trusted knowledge companion that helps HR get up to speed quickly. Today, Tilly can walk you through FMLA basics like eligibility, notice requirements, and more. Soon, we'll expand into more specific pieces of information like state laws and eventually company specific policy answers, making compliance knowledge more accessible than ever. We also know that HR leaders are constantly asked for insights: how many leaves are happening, where trends are forming, and how that impacts business planning. Traditional reports are static, and digging through spreadsheets often means HR is pulling data that they don't necessarily need. That's why we built our new leave reporting dashboard with Tilly for leave data questions. The dashboard gives you quick visibility into things like leave by type, stage, or state, plus a clear breakdown of continuous versus intermittent leaves. But here's where it gets exciting. If the chart doesn't answer your question, Tilly can. You can ask questions like, what percent of my leaves are FMLA eligible? And get answers instantly, even exploring trends. For HR, it means you're no longer stuck in a reactive cycle. You can walk into leadership meetings with insights in hand, support workforce planning, and even spot risk earlier. Over time, you'll see even more powerful use cases, like industry benchmarking and building configurable reports in seconds. Lastly, leave summaries. Leave data is notoriously messy. Between tracking dates, eligibility, return timelines, and status updates, often means that you're flipping through spreadsheets, case notes, or even email threads. That complexity slows down HR and frustrates employees. That's why we built the Leave Summary tab. It brings all of critical details about a leave into one clear, glanceable view. Instead of chasing data across systems, HR can see the status, stage, type of leave, and key dates all in one place. The benefit is that HR saves time, reduces errors, and can give employees confident answers faster. No more, let me get back to you. Just immediate, clear information that builds trust. Looking forward, we see Leave Summary as a launchpad for all different types of smarter automation, like surfacing upcoming deadlines, highlighting compliance risk, or even nudging managers on next steps. It's all about turning leave from a fragmented process into a connected, proactive experience. So that's what's up first. But in addition to what we just highlighted, we have a number of different improvements currently in development, like our leave planner that you saw earlier, an expanded ecosystem of HRIS integrations, and claim assistance to help streamline the pile of forms that HR and employees are responsible for throughout a leave, employee chat functionality, and more. After that, we have even more coming down the pipeline to help HR build a leave process that works for how your organization wants to conduct leave. That means giving your team more autonomy than ever in our platform, with things like configurable notifications and benefits, custom stacks, task management hubs, policy visibility in the platform, all supported by compliance alerts and guardrails to help keep your processes safe and compliant. This is the future that we're building at Tilt, and we're excited to continue to share updates throughout that process. You can use this QR code to visit a new landing page or visit ourtilt.ai.
Thank you all for joining us here. We appreciate that you stayed with us through this as we reported live here at HR Tech. We're excited about these new features, and as Hollis mentioned, please join us at ourtilt.ai, or you can visit us using this QR code. Thank you all for joining.